Douglas Mwonzora Presser. I will actually round it up when it ends.
And the people of Zimbabwe to decide. So the MDC is standing where it stood before. And that is to say this constitution needs to be preserved, this constitution needs to be protected, and this constitution must not be amended as a result of direct self-interest. And this constitution, of course, requires, the amendment requires the assent of the people of Zimbabwe before it goes to the president for assent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen. I am now inviting if there is any question or questions. I'll start normally from my left. My left, do you have any question?
And I insist that Yvonne asks a question.
You insist that I asked?
It is an honor.
Well, probably want to know like what constitutional safeguards are based when citizens are not directly elected president. Why should the people defend what you're saying? Why should they not go with the post?
Thank you very much. Yvonne, currently the people of Zimbabwe have the right to elect the president, to vote in the president, in the presidential election. So they have right now a legitimate expectation that come election time, I will, as an individual, cast my vote on a candidate that I want. That has now been removed. And they are now saying that the power to elect the president is now going to be exercised on behalf of the people by parliament. So it is the 350 parliamentarians who are going to sit and elect a president. Now, it is possible, it happened at one time in this country, where some people elected a president from this party and an MP from a different party. That freedom of choice is now being removed. And that is why we are saying the people of Zimbabwe must defend the right that they have. That is the right to elect a president. And if they have a right to elect the president, it means they have power over a president. A person who is holding the office of president is likely to behave better if he or she knows that after 5 years he will face the electorate and be accountable to them. Now that is removed. He doesn't have to worry about what the electorate thinks. He only has to worry about what the 350 people in parliament are going to think. So accountability to the people is very lost. And that is what we are saying Zimbabweans must defend.
My name is Lovejoy from 26 Budget. Mr. Mwonzora, suppose the ZANU-PF then goes ahead, doesn't listen to your concerns, doesn't listen to anyone. They go ahead and implement what they're trying to do. What now from your end? And then probably another question would be, don't you think maybe you should be fighting this from a collective effort in the opposition, or you want to do it as an MDCT? Is there no strength in numbers? And then my last question would be, President Mnangagwa is on record several times saying that he doesn't want to extend his term, he will not accept that. Do you think he has misled millions of Zimbabweans by repeatedly saying what he said and then acting the other way?
Well, first of all, suppose they do it anyway. What are we going to do? We will cross the bridge when we get to it. We have spoken our mind about what we see as wrong in this whole thing. And it is possible, it has happened before, it happened during delimitation. We as the MDC fought against delimitation. And the opposition that is now in parliament sided with the ZANU-PF, and the delimitation still went ahead anyway. there must be in history certain men and women who will say no. And at this point in time, fate has pointed on us in all progressive forces to say no to what is wrong. And if they want to go ahead anyway, do the constitutional amendments in a constitutional way anyway, we will cross the bridge when we come to it. As Lenin says in his book, Guerrilla Warfare, there is no prescribed method of struggle. Every method will depend on the circumstances if they exist. We want to see what ZANU-PF is going to do in Parliament. We want to see what the parliamentarians are going to do, are going to say, and we will react accordingly. Of course, there is strength in numbers. That is why the MDC is on record of saying we want the unit of purpose of all progressive forces. So, in a previous press conference, we talked about the need to unite as an opposition. I remember talking about other political leaders, Job Scala, Speedy. I dared talk about Chamisa. And of course, the reaction of Chamisa is on public record. We still maintain as the MDC that there is need, there is wisdom in uniting for the common cause, for the common good. And we will talk to those people who want to unite. I have read in the paper sentiments by other political leaders, Scholars Party, they've commented. I've seen the comment by Professor Mandugu, and other political leaders and leaders within the civil society. It is important to come together on this issue. The MDC is speaking now because the MDC must give its position so that there is no ambiguity. The MDC was key in drafting this constitution. It was key in negotiating the global political agreement that led to the establishment of the constitution, and it is a key stockholder. President Mnangagwa has refused, has said that he does not want a third term or an extension of term. He said that in an interview with CNN, Christian Amanko, he said it in I think it was in Beijing, China. He said it in China when addressing Zimbabwean nationals there. And he said it in Mutare. He has repeated it a few times. And I do know, because at one point in time, I put the question directly to him. When I bumped into him, I put the question directly to him, and his answer was the same. That is why we are saying that if he is of that mind, that he is publicly professed to the world that he does not want to take term, we are calling upon him as the President of the Republic to exercise his duties in terms of Section 90. And Section 90 says it is the duty of the President to defend and preserve the Constitution. The Constitution is under siege, so he should do that. And we are expecting that he should do that. And it is also the duty of the government to listen to the dissenting voices. We know that there is a lot of intolerance that has come into the establishment. People who think differently on this issue may be persecuted and so on. We want Zimbabweans to debate this issue in full freedom and let the dominant idea prevail and let the people decide. It's not for ZANU-PF to decide, it is for the entire Zimbabwean population to decide.
Thank you.
My name is Mwonzora. I'm going to be in the court case so far.
Do you have another question?
Maybe,
Anyone? Yes.
yeah. Maybe are you planning on launching a court application, a court challenge on this one, on this issue?
Yeah,
same question,
Oh,
but
it's the same
I
question.
will end.
Okay, it's okay. You can end.
Are you going to mobilize the masses to go to this?
Yes, 5 times.
How are you going to close it?
Oh, thank you very much. The bridge is there. Oh, thank you so much. We are prepared, of course, to engage every Zimbabwean because this is not an MDC issue alone. It is not a Douglas Mwonzora issue alone. It is not even a Mnangagwa issue alone. It is an issue for all Zimbabweans. Because the Constitution governs all of us, it is important not to discriminate when it comes to engagement. We are prepared to engage ZANU-PF on this issue. Why are we prepared to engage ZANU-PF on this issue? Because we were together with ZANU-PF when we drafted this clause. We were together with ZANU-PF when we agreed on it. We were together with ZANU-PF when we received the instructions from the people of Zimbabwe to make sure that they are championed. We were together with ZANU-PF when we went to the referendum and he had, in no uncertain terms, the views of the people of Zimbabwe. So we want to engage them, to ask them, comrade, what has gone wrong? What's different now? We agreed on this. And just to advise you, I think on the last day of the negotiations in the Constitution, I was seated directly opposite to the Minister of Defense then, who is the President now. And I was reading clause by clause to him. And he was indicating whether they were in agreement or not. And when we came to this one, we agreed. And it is important that we know from ZANU-PF what has motivated this to risk the country being labeled a pariah state. What is the benefit of that? We are interested in knowing that. Unfortunately, no one is engaged us, but we are very willing to talk to them. We are willing to dialogue. We always say that dialogue is important. It was through dialogue that the war of liberation was ended at Lancaster House. It was through dialogue that the bloodletting in Matabele and the Midlands was stopped during in 1987. It was through dialogue that the bloodletting of 2008 was stopped. So why should we not resort to that? So we are prepared to talk to them. We are prepared to engage to some of the people within the opposition who are ambivalent about this issue. When I read some of the tweets, I see that there is ambiguity everywhere. We need to be very clear about this issue. So we are willing to engage. Are we going to file a court application? I don't know. I don't know whether the leadership of the FTC are going to say we should file a court application at all. And if so, what is the timing? Timing is very, very important when it comes to court cases of this nature. Because there may be a risk for those who want to engage in litigation of doing it too early. For example, one can argue that you are challenging a bill. Who told you that it won't be changed when it goes to Parliament, you know? And so on. So there is need for a certain stage to be reached before one can challenge in court. But whether the MDC would want to litigate on this issue is something I do not know. Whether they are going to mobilize the people of Zimbabwe is something that I can suspect that the MDC would want to do.
Okay, so I think we've gotten a view of the standing of Douglas Mwonzora, as MDC is saying, they are saying no to 2030 term extension. Asked about means of stopping this extension of the term of office for Emmerson Tambutso Mnangagwa, he says, especially in terms of contesting this in a court of law, he says it's too early. Something we have been speaking about, especially regarding the issue, the court cases of Gambagwe and more precision, as well as also Ipechulika Zulu and Mbuso Fuzwayo. And I think it may make sense that they are actually aiding the regime, because these cases can be easily dismissed on technicalities. So Douglas Mwonzora saying he's open to work with other opposition political parties. He is open also to dialogue with ZANU-PF. Are they open to dialogue? That's the mind-boggling question. Asked on whether they will mobilize the people of Zimbabwe, he says that remains open as long as the leadership of the MDC actually approves that. Playing very well with words, because of the current leader in Zimbabwe. If you speak recklessly, they have got legal instruments to actually get hold of you. So people, Douglas Mwonzora technically playing very well with the words, especially when asked very difficult questions, and that could actually make it easier for the current regime, which is actually paying for people's blood, to go after him. Although Douglas Mwonzora's political history has been tainted, but on this one he is getting it right, that Mnangagwa, and also asked questions like Mnangagwa is a liar. I think that is the truth. He deceived the nation. He deceived the nation. How do you trust such a charlatan who deceives the nation? He has been deceiving the people of Zimbabwe that he won't be going for a third term. And here we are. He is nothing but a liar. A president who is a liar, a blatant liar, a charlatan. That doesn't deserve to be respected by the people of Zimbabwe. Thank you very much for watching us. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do